stimulus, right? So there's some trigger happened, and it needs to react to that trigger. So for an example, again, going back to dev agent, I assigned an issue. There is a problem in the code base. I need to fix that problem. Proactive, on the other hand, is that this type of agents we're going to see soon, right? It's almost like Jarvis type capabilities. Oh, I see in the LangChain you have a dinner appointment you have to go to that will take 30 minutes to drive, because let's say this agent has access to my calendar. It can proactively shuffle my meetings to make sure I can make that dinner, right? It's doing behind the scene like automatically, so that I don't have to worry about it. So it can essentially, the fundamentals here is that it can figure out what the future is going to look like and essentially fix that for you, so proactively. Okay, so what are the use cases? This is where I usually, if I do face-to-face in person, I usually engage the crowd in here. I mean, what kind of problems we can solve with an agents? But the nature of the reality is right now is that everything and anything that could be possibly be solved by an AI agent will be solved by an AI agent. Okay, that's going to be the reality. So AI agents for software developers, AI agent that can do project management. We are building an AI agent that will work like a business development salesperson, right? All this possibilities. Or AI agents to solve specific problems you have. And somebody says about the DevOps, right? There could be tons of interesting possibilities in here, like agent continuously improving the deployment cycles, figuring out the subsets needs to be deployed based on processing log messages. And there are endless opportunities in here. Okay. This also means for us builders, this is a huge opportunity to make money, to be honest with you. There is going to be tons of projects coming in this around space. Build an AI agent for me, build an AI agent for this, build an AI agent for Y. So this skill is important to have. So we are kind of doing the similar thing in here. So what we, this agents becomes even more interesting when you have them interact with each other, right? So then it essentially becomes a team. So this is our kind of grand vision of where Tublian wants to be in someday. We essentially wants to build. We want to build this AI workforce where this AI workforce is going to be your team working for you, doing all the stuff so that you can build, run, and scale your business, right? So this is that infrastructure we're building, and which will be a multi-agent approach. So the first framework we're going to be looking at, so that's kind of the baseline, okay? So I think let's make this a little bit more real by building some agents. So like I said, we're going to be focusing on two specific frameworks. The first framework we're going to be looking at is a CrewAI. This, a couple of months back, I was hot about this and we started, but anyway, we'll come back to that. If anybody asks a question, I'll share some war stories around this. But anyway, so this I found is very interesting. This framework is to orchestrate autonomous AI agents. Now, we are now talking about not a single agent. We are talking about building group of agents together. Which is a very interesting concept. In hindsight, it makes a lot of sense because as you building agents, any reasonable complex solution is going to have lots of features, right? Lots of things you have to build out. So, like any good design patterns or practices, you want to build your app like we do. When we build application, we separate our functionality into classes, into components, right? Because why we do that? Because it helps us to manage the complexity. Similarly, in this space, when you're solving a problem, complex problem, you don't want to shove everything into one AI agent, right? Because then that agent's going to become complicated. You're typically going to figure out, okay, I'm going to break this into smaller agents with specific abilities and responsibilities. So what CrewAI does is that once you end up with multiple AI agents, those agents need to talk to each other, right? There needs to be an orchestration layer. That's what it provides. So think of this as that the name stands for crew. Think of this that you're assembling your dream team, right? Each member will have unique skills and experience. Right? What does that look like? Behind the scene, this is what it does. One great thing about Crew is that it provides lots of building blocks for you out of the box. Okay, so my experience working with it, this is great for semi-technical, non-technical folks to quickly spawn up AI agents doing specific. For any complex work, obviously you have to roll your sleeves and code, but you want something basic, you potentially could do this with writing only a handful of Python lines, and you have multiple agents working together. That's the huge benefit. So it provides lots of features out of the box. Obviously, one of the things it does is that it provides this orchestration process layer. Tools we talked about, right? This is the way for agents to access other tools and talk to them, other external environment. Task is essentially the objective, what you have. Hey, book, research an item for me, book a hotel reservation for me. Those are tasks. Any question?
Yeah, I would like to know like how those we can interact with it, and how it will like the AI agents will interact with the code base. Like if I have a application, for an example, it is a Gmail clone application, and I want to revamp it. So how I can interact with it? It is a terminal based like agents, or it is a code editor
Terminal.
based. Yeah.
No, this will be all terminal. This are all Python. At the end of the day, this is just a Python application.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'll show you some code right now. Okay.
Okay.
So first thing we're going to build is a research crew. Okay. I want to build my research team. Okay. Why I'm going to do that? Let's take an example. Some version of this we use every day, every week. For our 10x podcast that Precious and I do every Monday, right? We cover latest AI news for software developers. So this is a research team for that. Its objective is that I'm going to provide some sort of instruction. Hey, can you find all the latest stuff happening in AGI? Okay, or what happened last, or whatever your objective is. Or I have this paper I need to write for my university. Can you do some research in how AI agents can help with curing cancer, for an example, let's say. Okay. So I want to build my research crew. The research crew is going to have two agents. One agent is a researcher agent, which is obvious. With the objective of this agent would be to gather all the information. Now, to gather information, that means this agent needs the capability to do web search, right? Browse internet. For that, I'm going to add a web search tool to this agent. Okay. Now, the research task going to be whatever prompt I have. Like for an example, can you tell me how AI can cure cancer? That's my task here. So it'll do its stuff. So when it's done, the researcher agent is obviously very busy. Its capability is research, not creating a report. It will send all the data to an analyst agent. Then analyst agent will comprehend all the information, summarize it, and create a nice report for me. So that here is a one-pager with all the information that you want. Okay? Make sense? That's what we're going to build now. Okay. So let's look at some code. You guys see my screen?
Yeah, it is visible.
Visible? You guys can read it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so crew, when you come, these are all, by the way, in this repo. All the examples that I'm going to show you here are already published. Feel free to clone it, play with it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look at is that my CrewAI agents project. Okay, this, like I said, it's a Python project. When you do crew, so under source, I have this researcher. This is my research team. Crew provides, say, encourages more convention style, almost like Ruby Rails sort of framework. So it has folders for tools. It has folders for config. It has this the crew.py file. So let's look at that. So this is my crew. Whatever I just described in here, this diagram is represented by this code in here, right here. So what I'm saying is that, hey, I'm creating a crew, which is this whole box with researcher and analyst. These are my agents. I'm going to show you what those are. And here are my tasks. The process is going to be sequential. That means the researcher agent will start its thing. It will finish all the stuff. Then it will hand over everything to the analyst agent. Okay. There is another way to do this, and I'll talk about that shortly. Now, the way you declare agents, this is what I was saying, everything is very convention-based. All you have to do is to describe them in a YAML file. That's what I was saying, that non-technical, this is reasonably easier for semi-technical folks to jump in. So here is what I did. This is all I need to create a researcher agent. I specified a role. The topic is going to be the parameter that I'm going to sending it out. It could be do a research on AI, then it will say AI senior data researcher. Okay. This is all sort of like a sort of system prompt approach to set up the context for the model. The goal is to uncover cutting edge developments in this and backstory. This is all kind of, you can use your prompting techniques to describe. The better you do here, it will improve the quality of the response.
Sorry to interrupt you in the middle. What is the underneath model we are using for these agents?
For this example, I'm using GPT-4o.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So again, it uses that light LLM framework, so it can plug into any LLM essentially. The reporting analyst is ask keep going question. I appreciate that. Thank you. Reporting analyst, on the other hand, is also another agent here. I'm saying, hey, you are a meticulous analyst. Keep eye on the details. You're known for your ability, complex data comprehend, sort of again prompting technique. Okay. Task, on the other hand, this is what the objective we're going to feed into this agent, right? So for two agents, we have two tasks. The research task is the following: conduct thorough research on whatever the topic we feed in. Make sure to find an interesting, relevant information in the current year 2025. List with 10 bullet points of most relevant information. So I'm kind of providing some structure to the researcher, what it look. Our reporting agent is also a reporting task is also similar. Review the context, find the details. Now here I thought was very interesting because most of the time you're gonna want this tools to return a data in a structured format. Because why not? Because then it will be easier for you to represent in UI. It might be easier for you to send it to another crew, right, or another group of agents to process. So in the reporting task, it provides this nice little thing called output file. So you can provide a structure. Hey, I want the report in a markdown format. Okay. So what Crew does essentially is when you load it up, there is a bit of sort of monkey patching magic going on in here. This agents will automatically suck in all the agents that it cleared here. So what this line is doing is creating a crew with researcher agent and analyst, researcher agent and reporting analyst agent. Okay. Task is also similar. It just has this ability to read this YAML file and do it. Okay. So to kick this off, sorry, I lost the chain of my thought here a little bit. So kick this off, this is the main run method we're going to be running. Okay. This main run method, I'm setting the topic to artificial general intelligence or AGI. That's the topic I wanted to research on. It could be anything. Okay. If you're building a nice little app for this, then maybe this topic should come as a parameter as on the request, right? So that you can dynamically create for that. This could be an interesting baseline as a homework exercise for you guys, is to take this and see if you can create your own deep research agent, right? Like ChatGPT does. This has nice little framework that you can build on top of that.
What is the
All right,
underneath framework we are using for this?
CrewAI.
True AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
AI
thank you.
is a framework. I keep mentioning that, but maybe I was not very clear. This is the framework we're using. Yeah, this.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so what I did before this is that just to save some time in here, I'm in my virtual environment. The GitHub repo that I shared should have all the details for you guys to run these examples as well. Okay. I've installed all the dependencies. Not all I'm going to do is just say CrewAI / run. Okay. Now one thing that I was waiting for this to see if anybody asked a question. Nobody did. Is what this is all great, but what happened to this web search tool? We didn't even talk about that at all, right? So one of the things that we do here is when I'm doing this research agent, here is how I'm configuring it in the code here. So I'm reading the config file, which I talked about in the YAML. Okay, this is the agent interface. And to this agent interface, I'm saying, hey, here is your tool. For some weird reason, I call that tool my custom tool. Very creative of me. So this here maps this link that I just established this link here. Now, my crew tool is not out of the box. I wrote this code. Don't look at my key. So what this does is that it has this underscore run, which is they inherited lots of stuff from LangChain, by the way. But so this large model underneath, we need to invoke the research agent saying, hey, can you do research on AGI? Why AGI? Because that's the topic we set here, correct? Remember?
Yeah.
Uh, then the model will do, hey, researcher, can you do a research on AGI? Then the researcher agent will say, yes, I want to, but where will I find the information for the AGI? Then the agent will say, oh, I have access to this tool. Maybe I should invoke this tool to get the information. That's how it will invoke the tool. Okay. When you're going to invoke the tool, it's going to pass a set of arguments. This argument is going to be all created by the model. Okay, we don't know what search term it will create. Okay, this will all get generated by AI. But every time it will invoke us with a search model, we will perform a Google search. I have a SERP API in here that essentially uses my key, goes to google.com and queries that information. And output of this will be all the Google search result. Okay. So this tool going to feed in the output going to come from the Google search result. This agent's going to process the search results and then push it back to the analyst agent. Clear so far?
Yeah, but how it will read from the my custom tool, like the agent will, like
What do you mean?
yeah, the topic is that AGI, and if it will look for the AGI, the researcher agent will look for the AGI model, sorry, AGI content over the Google, for an example. Then
Yeah.
how it will read from the Google web pages about the like model, about the content which it will be shown over the
No,
google.com.
the SERP API that we are using here, this
Mhm.
API returns the organic result.
Okay.
We are transforming the result into title, link, and snippet, and
Okay.
we return this information back to the agent.
Oh, perfect. So it is stored somewhere in database or not?
No, this is real time. So let's run it.
Okay.
This is going to happen real time right now.
Okay.
So you're running crew, saying artificial general intelligence senior engineer. Remember, now it's doing some Google search. So it's searching with queries, getting the results. It used the SERP tool 3 times, so it made a Google search 3 times. Now it got the information. Now it handed over to the analyst, reporting analyst, to create a report.
And sorry, the thinking down there
It's
is
thinking.
analyst working because I can see status in progress. That's the analyst working, right?
Yes. So here is the report. I remember I said 10 points, so it came up with 10 points in here. So emergence of AI, this is all came up with. Now, obviously it doesn't show the links in here. That could be another interesting exercise for you. When it creates a report, I would love to see all the links at the end, like a note. That would be amazing to add feature to this project. But as you can see, this actually went through a bunch of stuff in here. It did Google search, latest development in artificial intelligence. All this is, all queries are created by model. Here is a search result we got real time from Google. So something from Forbes we got. There is another one from what are the other URLs? AI Trends Reasoning Frontier Models. So there's a bunch of information it gathered. Then it figured out that, okay, they synthesized this information. Then it's trying to do a search again. This time it changed the search term to give me breakthroughs in AGI. So we got another search result coming in. It compiled those search results. Then keep going, researcher. Okay, another one with a different search query. Finally, it called 3 times. I figured it figured out all the relevant information in here. Then it handed over to the, it's still processing here. Task completed. So researcher said, okay, I'm done with what I need. Then researcher is completed. There are a bunch of status. I said verbose. That's why there are lots of information in here. Then a handover happened to the reporting analyst. Now, the interesting bit of this handover is that I didn't code this handover, right? The CrewAI framework that we're using, that's what it provides, that process flow. So it knew the next agent is in queue to process this. It invoked that agent. It gathered all the information, going through all this stuff, and finally created this 10-point report for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna, it's already 40 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm moving so slow. Is the pace okay, or do you want me, I'm just slowing down a little bit, just make sure everybody gets it. I can move a little faster if that's okay with you all.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Totally okay.
Okay. Okay, cool. So just, I'm not gonna have time to go through this, but there is a code for this. Take a look at it. I wanted to push the limit of CrewAI a little bit when I was this was an one candidate framework we were thinking of using to build our BizDev agent. We decided to go some other route, but this was one of the. And I wanted to push the limit a little bit. What is possible here? So relatively complex logic sometimes not be sequential, right? It might be hierarchical. So let's say I want to do a booking crew. This summer I'm planning a trip. I know it's a kind of cliche example, but this is interesting. So in that case, as a good design practice, I will create a 3 agents, one for flight booking, one for hotel booking, one for car rental booking. But when I have these 3 agents, my bookings could vary, right? Somebody could say, I just need a car rental. Somebody could say, I just need hotel and flight, don't care about car, right? There could be multiple combination of this. So I cannot blindly rely that every 3 agents going to get involved in every operation, right? So when that happens, we need some sort of supervision, right? Somebody who will understand who needs to work on this project, right? So that's why I've introduced this manager agent. So the job, this is like a supervisor when every request is going to come to this manager, and then manager will essentially create some sort of process planning, a planning phase. So introducing a planning phase to say, okay, to solve this task, what do we need? And kind of create that plan. So this is a hierarchical processing. And Crew does have an ability to do that with some limitations, but so where we are saying sequential, there is another called hierarchical. All you have to do is this. Then it provides this ability to, I'm going to save this, I think it's called manager agent, yeah. So you can provide a manager agent that will allow to set another agent as a supervisor for the whole process. So this has lots of interesting potential in terms of designing very complicated flow. Now, one thing to note here, I'm moving a little fast here. One thing to note here is that this agent itself could be a crew. right? It could be a combination of even further group of smaller agents. So this is like a turtle all the way down, right? A crew can call another crew, can call another crew. So the fundamental is so simple. You can design lots of complicated process flow using this model. Okay. So the next one that we're going to be looking at is my favorite framework. It's LangChain. Um, if you're around in this industry, LangChain is probably one of the oldest and probably most feature complete framework out there. I mean, it has everything,
Yeah,
everything.
I have worked over it. Yeah.
So this is essentially one framework to rule them all. It has this huge capability and stack. Most of our logic is going to be for today focused on open source so that you guys can use it. Obviously, they have lots of stuff like LangServe and LangSmith, which is a paid version that provides analytical support to this. Okay, I heard somebody say full stack. LangChain does provide Python and JavaScript. I heavily use Python. That's why most of my examples are Python, but you can do all the stuff that I just said in JavaScript as well. Okay. In fact, it would be really, really interesting for you guys. Again, another interesting challenge. The models are getting really, really smaller. There are very small size models too. See if you can build sort of an AI agent that runs on a browser, inside the browser. That would be cool. So one particular module of LangChain that you're going to be looking at is their LangGraph module. Now, LangGraph is designed mainly to essentially build stateful orchestration flow, right? Because any reasonable code or logic we're going to build an application with agent going to need some sort of process flow, right? Our dev agent that we build probably have like, I don't know, 150 nodes that he has to go through to solve an issue, because sometimes it could be complicated, right? So you just cannot design that with any if and else block. You need some sort of abstraction layer. That's what LangGraph provides. So what are we going to be looking at? This is going to be a little technical, okay, but very, very interesting. Is we're going to be build an SQL agent. We all some point have read about SQL normalization and stuff back in school. What are we going to do is that we realize that lots of data analysts out there are not very comfortable with generating SQL. We're going to build a tool for those analysts. All they're going to do is that they're going to type their query in natural language. Okay, find me all the products sold last month. And our agent's going to take that, turn that into an SQL query that database, and fetch the result back. Okay. So for that, this is what the process looks like. Trust me, it's very simple. Don't get scared. I'm going to explain step by step. The first thing is that it needs to obviously have access to the database, right? So there is a tool that we're going to be using to access database. Anytime the query is going to come, it's going to do some sort of list table. Okay, wow, what kind of tables do we have in the database? It's going to figure out the schema, so some sort of metadata. Okay, what are the tables? Okay, this is a table of product. This is a table about album. This is a table about artist, right? That's kind of schema. They need to do query generation. These models are, again, I think for this, I'm going to use GPT-4o, but as you use O series model or Claude or others, these models are getting really, really good at generating SQL queries. So we're going to tap into them to generate SQL queries. Now, we all know these models are not perfect, right? And this is one of the things that I learned when I started building agent, that anytime you build agents, you always have to think about validation. You always have to think about error scenarios that this is not like catching exception. This error is going to be random, random errors. So you always have to make sure when you design agent is that how can I validate that it works? Okay, that requires some sort of thinking, but there's always always put a validation step in your process. So in this case, our validation is check query. Is it working? If it's not working, then go back and generate again, right? We're gonna loop through this. But if check query says, okay, yeah, it's kind of working, then we'll execute the query, because at the end of the day, we need to return the result, right? And if the execute also fails, sometimes it failed because we could generate a valid query, but the table doesn't exist. You know how LLMs does hallucinations, right? It could totally happen. So if that happens, we go back to query again with the error, okay? And every time you're going back with an error, remember, we have to add the context. Sending same prompt over and over again and expecting different result is not a good practice. So anytime fails, we need to provide some helpful feedback to the model. Hey, you generated this query. By the way, this query didn't work. And here is the reason why it didn't work. So that query generator will know, okay, I understand what mistakes I've made. Similarly, what you do when you add errors to your Copilot. So when it finally happens, we prepare the result and send the result back. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to move to the second project here, which I built. This is also part of the repository that I shared, is the SQL agent. Now, since we're going to be using LangGraph, one of the things about LangGraph is that since it's super powerful because it gives you the total control. Unlike CrewAI, there is no abstraction in here. You're building sort of your thing here, okay? So I said graph, it actually essentially looks like a directed graph here, okay? So it starts with a start node. You guys can see my code correctly? It's readable?
Yeah, it is readable.
Okay, so could have done differently in here. Okay, so we start with the start node. The first tool, essentially the first tool is that we are just introducing the list table tool, the large language model, to say, hey, you got to invoke this tool. So when it invokes this tool, it creates a list of tables. This code will look very parallel to what we just saw here. We just coded this in Python, just same graph. It's actually even good practice that when you're using LangGraph, create your flow like this on a whiteboard or on your notepad, just to think through the logic. Then come here and code it in Python. The list table goes to the model schema. We want to figure out the schema. We use the schema tool to get the information. Then we go for the query generation. The should continue is that decision block in here. Okay, it's keep checking if there is an error. If there's an correct error, go ahead, execute the correct error. And the execution happens successfully. We prepare the response and send the response. Okay. Now, what I've done here is that I've used an open source database called a Chinook. Chinook DB. So a good example. This is an SQL. We're going to be using SQLite database as our thing. Here is the so SQLite. Has anyone worked with SQLite before?
Yeah, I have worked for the in-memory database. We can say in-browser database.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So this is what the database looks like. So essentially, this is backed by a file. It downloads a .db file. So when you run this code, sorry, this is all hacky a little bit, but if you want to locally run this, all you have to do is then uncomment this download DB. You do have to download this DB file. I already ran it. Here is my DB file. Okay. So I've downloaded an UI browser so that I can look at the database. So this is what the database. The database is essentially a database of this is like a music store. Okay, so it has information about album. Albums are I'm looking at the artist. Here are the all albums. So sort of music albums, and here are the list of artists that we have: AC/DC to AC/DC to Montana to Bon Jovi to Nirvana, you name it. Okay. I used to be Nirvana is amazing. So this is kind of a database we're working with. It could be any database. Trust me, you can essentially download this code. This works pretty well. This SQL agent, and unleash on any database, and you suddenly have a natural language to SQL generator. Okay, so this is the database. I've already downloaded this. Our application is going to connect to this database. Okay. So what I'm doing is that I'm going to run this first, and then we'll take an example. The query that I want to run is that I want to find out which artist has the most number of albums. The reason this is interesting because this will require joining two tables. So it's not the most complicated SQL query, but it's a bit complicated because we want to see whether this really works. A simple thing could be find all the artists, right? That will just be accessing one table. But here we want to do something that we want to see that whether it has the ability to join two tables or not. Okay, that's the input. So I'm creating. So before I get there, one more thing. So I created all these nodes, added them in the graph. So I created a workflow. Once you're done with the workflow, essentially you say workflow compile. So we have our app ready. Okay. Then anytime a query coming in, assuming this is coming from your prompt or REST API, whatever, all you have to do is that app.invoke. These messages are standard format, chat completion format, where you just list all the messages. The user is the persona, that means the user is sending it. If there's a system, AI, you will just put it in AI in here. Okay, so the messages are just chat conversation. All right, so I'm going to different tab in here. Again, a different virtual environment. The README file should have all the details in here. I was running it to test with something else, so I'm going to run this now. Remember, the input to this has been just a simple query, the simple language, which artist has most number of albums. Now, when it send that, see what it did. This SQL query right here is all generated by the model. So it generated selects artist name, count album ID, which kind of makes sense, from album, join that with artist. With album has an artist ID, artist has an artist ID, which is true. Let's double check that. Album has an album and artist ID right here. And it's ordered by the album count because we said the topmost and limit to 1. So the answer seems like Iron Maiden has most number of album, which is 21.
Like I
The
have met the first agent who is interacting with database.
Yeah, and see how cool is this? So remember, this agent has no clue about album table, artist table. It just figured out through the process.
Yeah.
I got 5 minutes. This code again is shared. Maybe I should stop now. This is all I wanted to cover. Let me see what else in the slide. Yeah. So okay, good practices. Okay, good. Yeah. So always verify. Always mention that. Make sure your agent is very focused use cases. I mean, nature of the business is right now more focused. Your agent is better would be try to solve your specific problems. Working with as the data is flowing through on one node to another is very important to structure those inputs and outputs. Any reasonable application is going to have some complexity. You just cannot deal with strings. So either use the JSON output format or parentic models. We use parentic models, Python, just to keep a sense and structure to this so that it helps with debugging. Prompt engineering is still very relevant. How you design those nodes, how you prompt those agents are still very, very critical. So chain of thought and thinking through the prompts carefully going to be half of the exercise most of the time. With that, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. Is there any resource do you have related to prompt engineering?
Yeah, just go to 80/20 and ask for prompt engineering roadmap.
Okay. 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 Like a while ago, from a while ago, I was not using Tublian. Sorry.
That's okay.
Like
Yeah, 80/20 should give you more better result than I can.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for engaging, Afzal.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
For
Um,
those for those that don't know what 80/20 is, 80/20 is a Tublian tool that helps you to generate like resources, learning resources for anything, any tech skill at all. So If you go to tublian.com, do sign up or log in with GitHub. On your sidebar, you're going to see 20. Just click on it, put in the prompts of what you want, and then you're going to get, yeah, you're going to, it's going to generate the resources for you. So yeah, that's what he's talking about. Hi, Neil, back to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Any other question, comments, thoughts? Please share those tools on the chat. I did already. I feel like if you go to the GitHub repo, I can post it again. Maybe some folks haven't got it. This repo is interesting. Going back, I would love a pull request. Anybody, this will be good exercise on the researcher agent. See if you can add references, and it will, along with the report, it will put all the links there. That'll be pretty amazing. 80/20 is an yeah. Go, Afsal, if you want to go for it. Yeah, go for it. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, from like not today, but by the next
Yeah,
week
yeah,
I'll
no,
look into it.
yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Here is the tool for 80/20. If you register with Tublian,
I'm already
oh,
actually.
no, I'm referring to someone else asked on the chat. And then you should be able to sort of navigate to that. It's like an AI agent for learning, essentially. Any other question? Who is building agent here, or tried, or thoughts? I have some experience I'd love to share. Okay. All right. So it's about time.
I just want to
Or-
know if
Sure.
like, is it really necessary to use Python, or like using JavaScript should be fine?
Yeah, you can use JavaScript too.
Okay.
But in my experience, though, I mean, it should be fine. Just be sure that JavaScript APIs are always a little behind than the Python APIs for LangChain,
Okay.
because they're primarily, yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, but JavaScript is fine. I was asking even folks here. We're gonna see. It's gonna be very, very interesting to build like an AI agents, part of a React app that runs inside the browser. There are models becoming so small now. It will be fascinating. There is a site called Tiny Models. Maybe we should create maybe we should do a hackathon on this. Let me see if I can find it. Any other questions?
I think Obuesi Ogonna. And I think there's a question in the chat if you want to check it out.
Look, I can't find the link anymore, but in Hugging Face, you should be able to. I'm new here. I only see Python code. I don't see anything or where to start. I don't know whether, did you join later?
Yes, please. I joined when you started, not actually when you started. I think a few minutes to the starting time, and I left and I rejoined, but I don't get anything. I can only see the Python codes you are writing.
Yeah, when I gave context initially, I don't know, I might have to do the presentation again. Then, so yeah, no, it gets started means there are a couple of things we talked about. Obviously, look at the GitHub repo that I shared. That has two projects inside it. One project is using the framework called CrewAI. That's a good place to start. Another one uses a LangChain Langgraph. That's another place you can start. Depending upon how comfortable are you with Python code. If you're really comfortable with Python code, I will start with Langgraph and LangChain.
All right,
I can
the Python. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can share my slide, but I don't know how. Maybe I can put a PDF of the slides and share in the Discord community, so you can flip through those. I don't know whether this is recorded. Precious, is this called recorded?
Yeah, it is recorded, but I mean, I'm not sure of the quality of the recording because the tool we've been using to record, they discontinued it. So I'm using another tool. This is the first time, and I don't know the quality of the recording. But yeah, this is recorded. Yeah. So
Okay.
for
Yeah,
those,
I will.
sorry, Neil. I'm going to share the Discord
Mhm.
channel link so that you guys can join the Discord. He's going to drop the he's going to drop the slide on the event channel when you join the Discord server. Just go to community events. You will see the slide there. Yeah. Also, you don't get lost. Back to you.
No, no, yeah, thank you. All right. One last question, if anyone have it, before we wrap up.
So,
Okay.
I,
Thank you, Niranjan, for conducting this amazing session.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
Um,
Neil,
sorry. Yeah, I will share the slides. I'm talking to someone in chat. I will share the slides with you, and the GitHub repo you already got access to. Let me know if you are stuck into ping me on Discord or our community. There, someone who will try to answer you. Good luck. It's thank you very much for attending this. I had fun. I was surprisingly had more energy than I thought. That's good. Uh, uh, it's a very exciting space. This is again, I go back. People probably bored with this. This is a great time to become a builder. Greatest time ever. We have a once in a lifetime opportunity. We have so many powerful, interesting tools out there. Just go hack and build something. Okay. Take care. Thank you very much.
right. And thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Neil. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to share the Discord channel link. My devices are slow today. To share the Discord channel link on the chat. So, if you want to join Discord,
Oh
just
yeah. Oh yeah. Let me do that.
we
Let
have
me do that. I might have the link here.
yeah, we have who wants to join the Discord. You're going to see me. I'm always on Discord every day, saying one thing or the other.
Okay.
So
Cool.
you always see me. So if you are building this or you are testing out any of these tools and you run into an issue, just go. We have an AI ML channel. Milanjan is always there, so he will also see any question you ask. I will also be there. Yeah, so if you have any issue, you can always go there to drop your question, or someone will help you out. Are you open to organizing a bootcamp to take us from zero to AI Pro? Last year we did something on
Yeah.
AI AI internship, right? Yeah, maybe we should
Yeah.
we'll consider do
Oh,
something.
we can do it. Rashid. We might be. I mean, I enjoy fun. We can do a weekend hackathon, but to do that, you have to come up with. You have to bring 10 more people like you. If you can do that, then I will take an effort to build this, just to prove that how serious you are on this. But yes, I'm happy to. I'm always open with that idea.
Yeah.
All right, I got to jump here. Thank you so much, guys. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Neil. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. So if you are here, Rashid, reach out to me on Discord. Once you join Discord, you are going to see me. If you don't have a Tublian account, you can always create a Tublian account. There are so many tools that we have there that is going to help you. That is going to help you build one AI and all. So big shout out to Sabiman Talk, Rashid, Punet Verma, and the most active alphas. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Wabweze, thank you for joining. You are the second person that joined the session today. And everyone that asked questions. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. See you all in our next masterclass. So we do this thing monthly. We try to do it monthly, at least 2 times in a month. You know. So if you the next one will be out. If you're on Discord, you're going to see it. I'm also going to share it You're also going to get a notification like an invite. If you registered, you're going to get an invite for the next session. The next session is probably going to be on how to build your own RAG. I don't know if you guys understand what RAG, retriever augmentative, forgotten what the last DG stands for. um, all you need to do is it's like a system where you want an AI that answers questions based on your PDF. Let's say, for example, you took notes from this class and you want a system that will answer questions based on the notes that you've taken from this class. You want to build an AI like that, right? You just go, we'll show how to upload your PDFs or your resources, how you can be able to create an interface to retrieve those resources. So that is what we are working on doing a masterclass on for next 2 weeks. So if you get an invite, please make sure to register and also show up. Yeah. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. If you sign up on Tublian, you can check out 8020. Um, we shared the Discord link earlier. Let me share it again. This is the Discord link. So that's the link to join Discord. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, I was talking about when you join in, you can check out 8020. 8020, you can always generate a course, like I said, on anything you want to learn. You can check out open source, you can check out challenges. Sometimes we used to put out challenges and bounties, and when you build, you win some money. And then you can, if you are looking for a job, you can always check out Jobs Copilot. And every time you search for a job, there are two things you need to know. Use your city. So let's say you are looking for a job in Nairobi, you can say something like front-end developer jobs in Nairobi. If you're looking for jobs in Kigali, you can say something like back-end developer jobs in Kigali. And then when you join in using Copilot, when you find the jobs, you just click on Explore with Copilot. It analyzes the jobs for you. And then after it analyzes the job for you, all you need to do is to apply. And just recently, we made it's a system where it can help you generate a CV, tailored CV for every particular job that you are, any job you are applying to. So because I'm in Lagos, it's showing me jobs in Lagos. This is from Reliance Health. If you work for a corporate company, this is an HMO in Nigeria, very popular one. So they are looking for a senior software developer, engineer, full stack, right? So it's telling me that I'm 50% match for this role, and this match is based on my GitHub activities, right? So I can download a resume that I can use to apply for this job. Once it's generating my resume, once it is done, it's going to download, and I'll be able to use the resume to apply for this job. It's also suggested some interview questions for me. So if I have some questions around how can I, I'm trying to prepare for the interview. This is going to be very helpful for those of you looking for job, right? So, um, you know, check it out, use it, give us feedback. Um, it's important that you give us feedback because the feedback will help us make it better. So this is the CV that I generated. If you can see my screen, this is the CV that I generated. Yeah, so yeah, thank you very much for joining. On Monday, we will be streaming our. We have this podcast that we do every Monday. So if you want to learn about AI, what has happened in the AI market in the AI industry this week, are there new tools? You can check it out on YouTube. In the past episodes, um, we've talked about MCP, we've talked about um, vibe coding last week Monday and all those things. So yeah, check it out. Check the podcast out and tell us what you think. Right. So thank you very much, everyone. And I don't know if anyone has any question or anything they want to say before we call it a day. Link link to the podcast. Oh, let me share that. Hi, someone has a question. Hi, Priscilla.
Yeah, I wanted to find out if this was recorded,
Yeah,
and would it be shared in the Discord channel?
yeah. So it is recorded, but I don't know what the quality of the recording is going to be. But yes, it is recorded. I'm going to,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know what the because I'm using a new tool to record this time. The former tool we are using wasn't. It was it was messed up. So we are using a new tool. So yeah, I will share it on Discord also. Sorry, who's
All
here?
right. Thank you.
Somebody's hand is up. Go on and ask a question. Okay, no hand. So I'm sharing the link to the podcast now. So you can check out the previous episodes. Tell us what you think. Drop some comments. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the. All right. Thank you. I'm assuming there's no other question. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. See you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Yeah, but
So this was the story. This was the story. Why is